the last few years, I've been using Peak Design's everyday messenger bag as my daily driver for work. It's such a well-built and premium bag that it's hard to find something that matches that level of excellence. And I started wanting to switch back to a traditional backpack form factor instead of the messenger bag and began my search for a suitable companion. After an extensive search on the internet, I settled on a bag that has a bit of a hipster cult following behind it. After a trip to New York, as well as months with it back and forth from home to work, this is the Boundary Supply Errant Pack, and here's my full review. The Errant Pack was originally a crowdfunded project that helped propel this company as a social media darling. Whether it be on Instagram or Facebook ads, I was actually drawn to the minimalistic approach that the company's design philosophy revolves around. And while I would say that the Peak Design is still like the king of minimalistic urban backpack design, Boundary Supply has done a terrific job of capturing that essence as well. I bought the blue Errant Pack for $219 earlier this year, and since then, I found myself tethering back and forth between a mix of like positive and negatives that keep me from making a decision whether I like or dislike this backpack. I have it on right now. Let's try to characterize what this backpack actually is. At a capacity of 22 liters, it's on the bigger size of what an urban backpack is. While this technically can be used for anything from like city commutes, photography, and even camping, I personally found the functionality of the bag to resemble that of like a pack that I actually took backpacking through Europe when I was younger. You can open the bag to get to the contents inside through two ways. The first one is through an overhead zipper that is guarded by two magnetic snap pieces. You have to somewhat guide that nub into the magnet into their grooves by leading it under and then up. You technically don't need to zipper up this area, as the magnetic latch can actually act as a closing method as well. If you open the bag this way, you'll have to dig your arm into the bag like a rucksack. Actually, the Errant Pack kind of resembles a rucksack more than a backpack in many ways. There are lashes and latches throughout the exterior of the bag for compartment attachments and clips. While you don't need to utilize the inserts and the cubes the company sells as additional accessories, the bag was clearly designed to capitalize on these things as an organization tool. I don't have any of that, and for this review, I can't talk about that, but I do keep my tech cables and SSDs in a bag that fits perfectly into where that official insert would have gone, so that space is dedicated to something like that for me too. Going back to the second way to operate the bag, a zipper path along the body of the bag opens up the entire pack like how camera bags operate. In what Boundary Supply classifies as the workspace, a padded laptop and a tablet sleeve is held together by a magnetic latch. The laptop slot is spacious as it can hold up to a 15-inch device. Mine houses a 13-inch MacBook Pro and it's there comfortably. Any reasonably sized tablet will fit in the second slot, as my 11-inch iPad Pro also slid in there without any resistance. I actually like sliding in documents and folders to keep from crumbling while I commute from work in those slots as well. Below those two slots are two stretch mesh pockets that are pretty gracious in size. You could fit a graphing calculator or even like a Nintendo Switch in there if you want. On the opposite end, there are a few elastic pouches on varying sizes. The largest one is zippered, and I found it to be actually the right size for loose headphones. The side pouches can hold camera lenses if you decide not to acquire the camera component add-on. I also found this area to be a suitable spot for computer bricks that have like an elongated proprietary power brick like the one from the Razer Book 13. While I do like the compartmentalized layout for organization purposes, it does kind of limit the depth and storage for flexibility. For example, when I was using this as a day pack in New York City, I had headphones in that elastic pouch. Everything else also had their respective areas filled with their expected types of tenants. And when opening it up overhead style, it was actually rather difficult to pull out what I was looking for, as the pouch acted like a cover that tucks into a submerged content, if that makes sense. In this method of packing, it was then actually easier to open it via the body zipper to obtain what I wanted. You can do it halfway. What I'm trying to imply is that unlike some packs where you can just toss everything in and you can grab things any way it opens up, the Errant does have a specific method of how you use it depending on how you pack it. At least for me it did. I personally didn't find it equally versatile in both methods of opening the bag. That was a little tricky to get used to while using it in the city. I found myself having to think about which way to open and grab what I was thinking about taking out and where it was stored inside the bag instead of just opening it up whichever way and just taking it out. On the flip side, the Errant does have plenty of thoughtful exterior functions. There's a generous sized water bottle area that can actually hold a photography tripod instead. There's a bottom zipper slot that is meant to carry a pair of shoes. I found it actually a bit difficult to put in a pair of shoes there with a fully occupied bag, but it could be done with a bit of force. It's really meant for like soft tennis shoes and not dress shoes. I ended up using that slot to store folded reusable shopping bags while moving through the city instead. Boundary Supply placed plenty of hidden zippered areas to house commonly used key items like keys and cards. The Errant can also slide through a luggage handle while traveling via a luggage pass-through clip. While the backpack isn't the most comfortable pack to wear for long periods of time, the startup company has done enough here to try to make the bag accommodating to our human body. Padded handles, straps, and harness areas, they do enough to alleviate stress on the body while moving. The longest I had the Errant Pack on my body at one consecutive session was about like 3 hours half filled. I felt fatigued, which is normal after wearing a bag for so long, but I will claim that it is a little bit bulkier when carrying tech-oriented items for work than some of the other bags I own in a similar leader category. I will, however, easily classify the Errant Pack as a high-quality product. It isn't even a question to me. The stitching and the assembly is noticeably elite in material and feel. As a consumer, I can easily see that Boundary Supply didn't cheap out on any aspect of the bag when it comes to material choice and assembly. I am extremely impressed with this level of detail on what is from a relatively young company. There's a level of quality here that even exceeds some legacy bag makers at higher prices. $219 is about right for a backpack of this quality. I love the urban design and certain parts of the Errant Pack's modular layout. However, there's just certain daily usage aspects of the bag that don't mesh with my wants and my personal needs. I wouldn't necessarily blame the bag and its design as the problem, more so than I personally found that the bag was more suited for long-term storage travel than constant commuter operation, which I needed. I may also have felt this way because I don't have any of the compartment inserts that are clearly meant to be used with this design. This kind of further illustrates my point about this bag being designed to hold things for long travel without pulling things out from the main pack constantly like I was doing. That just didn't mesh well with my daily flow wearing this to commute for, or also for like videography work where I would be like constantly swapping things in and out of the bag. Still, I highly, highly recommend the Errant Pack on a short list of consideration as there is clearly a quality standard to Boundary Supply and their products. Once again, I'm Alex from the Sypnotix. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think of Boundary Supply as a company. Like, there's some people who don't even know what this company is. So if you know what it is, or if you watch this video and you just learned about Boundary Supply, what do you think of this bag? Would you get this for a peak design? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to hit subscribe. It really helps this channel if you like this video as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
So the other day, I was on a Zoom call at work, and I just dropped everything I was saying, and I told them, subscribe.